Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to this module. My name is Reed Prescott. I am the Sales and Field Development Manager for nutraMetrix for the United States. Tonight is a second in a series on getting started with nutraMetrix, and this is when we're going to talk about the career path of an NC and building your NC teams. So first you need to know why you want to be a nutraMetrix consultant. Some people simply get trained and educated so that they can support their existing health professional and nutraMetrix consultant partners that are already in their organization, and so they can assist with implementation. Some are training because they actually want to build a career path working with health professionals, helping them identify and implement these revenue-generating wellness programs that are customized for each individual practice. And some people don't actually want to do anything with nutraMetrix, and that's great. They are here because they want to learn about nutraMetrix so that they can build nutraMetrix in their organization without actually having to do the work of working with health professionals. So whatever your reason is for training to be a nutraMetrix consultant, welcome. They're all valid, and I think the more education that we all have, the better and stronger our entire organization and our entire company will be. So let's take a minute to talk about what you must do. A nutraMetrix consultant, we are the professional channel of Shop.com powered by Market America. And what that means is we have to be masters at the rules and regulations. Mastery, as once explained to me, is defined by the art of being able to speak about something without speaking about it. Ooh, sounds a little lofty, right? So you must have a complete understanding of what Market America and Shop.com is. You must have a complete understanding of the unfranchised system, the management performance compensation plan. And you must have a complete understanding of the policies and procedures and how not just your Shop.com web portal works, but the nutraMetrix.com web portal, including the staff login area. You must aspire to mastery in these areas. And a great place to start is to read your career manual. Now, if you haven't even opened up your career manual, that is the next thing you're going to do once this webinar is over, okay? Can we all agree on that? We are told from the beginning of our business that we should be reading at least 15 minutes a day of something business building related. I'm going to encourage you, no, I'm going to insist that you put down whatever it is that you're currently reading, and that tomorrow or tonight, you pick up your career manual and start reading that 15 minutes a day. All right? It's so important that I put that animation in twice. You must read your career manual. You must be familiar with it. All right, I think I've emphasized that enough. Now, what does a nutraMetrix consultant do? In short, we implement customized revenue-generating solutions for healthcare providers. nutraMetrix consultants can be found outside of a practice or inside of the practice, and everything really starts with an appointment with the health practitioner or the office manager sometimes, simply to gather information about the practice so that we can put together a customized proposal for them to look at and see if it's a fit for their office. If it is a fit, then we will begin implementation on site, and the NC will support and educate the staff and the health professional in the office. So a theme that we talk about are the roles of an NC. Now, we have divided this into 4 personality types. Basically, all of these things or tasks need to be done for a successful implementation, but it can be a lot. I'm not going to lie. We've made things very, very simple, but it still is an undertaking. And so if you divide the tasks out, if you delegate and build teams that specialize and become experts in one of these 4 areas, then guess what? You don't have to do all of it. And isn't everything that we do about creating leverage? Now, before I move forward, I want to say if it's just you right now, that's also fine. But you are going to keep your eyes and ears open and teach others how to keep their eyes and ears open on how to refer not just business, not just health professionals to you, but people who could potentially be on your consulting teams. So the 4 types of NCs, the type 1 is what we call the outside consultant. The second type is what we call the implementation manager. The third type is a wellness coach. And the fourth type is our TLS weight loss solution coach. Now, something to note is oftentimes some of the staff members inside a practice may be wonderful candidates for some of those roles, particularly the type 2, 3, or 4 NCs. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be nutraMetrix consultants, but 9 times out of 10, they're usually already doing the roles of these NC types. For an example, the office manager usually is going to be the type 2 NC, the implementation manager. If there is a need for a wellness coach, it's probably going to fall on a health professional in the practice, or an MA or a PA, or any kind of medical assistant included in that, or a nurse. And any staff member can be trained to be a TLS weight loss solutions coach, right? Now, that doesn't mean they are going to be NCs, and I want to be very clear about that. You will know. You will know, your gut will tell you when the right time to broach that conversation is. And also, through the implementation process, we will be dropping little hints and planting seeds along the way. So you don't need to prospect and pounce on anyone in an office. And also, don't expect that anyone in that office will become part of your literal nutraMetrix team. But at some point, after you've built those relationships, it is not uncommon to sort of say something like, you know, you're already doing the role of what we call the implementation manager nutraMetrix consultant. And if you're interested, you might want to check out how nutraMetrix can provide you an income stream as well. If that's something that interests you, why don't we meet, sometime after work for coffee, and I can share with you what that might look like. All right? And you see how simple and easy that was. It wasn't, oh my gosh, you'd be great for my business. It was, for lack of a better phrase, a very soft sell. It was, if you're interested, and let's meet outside the practice, and let me show you what that might look like for you, which is very different than many other approaches. Okay, so let's talk about the 4 different roles. The first is the outside consultant. Now, for all intents and purposes, we look like a rep when we walk in a door until we get to know the practice. And there is a theme that we talk about. We are consultants, not reps, and we'll talk about that. But please understand that before we're able to build that relationship and communicate with anybody in the office, we look like a rep, and that's okay. Because they're used to seeing reps. But what does an outside consultant do? We're the ones who are going to set up appointments with the practice. We're going to meet with the practitioners and design the solutions, gather the information that they need, and design the solutions that are based on those needs. We'll present the proposals, which is a continuation of the consulting process. We'll oversee and coordinate things with the staff. And then once things are up and running, our job is to measure, monitor, adjust, and control the overall wellness program for the health professional's success. Who would be a great fit? Anybody listed on this slide here. But they don't have to have that kind of background. They don't have to have a sales background. They don't have to be already connected to medical or health. The reason why these are listed here is these people, these professions already have connections and relationships with health professionals. So it might be a very simple fit for these people. And by the way, these are great people to look for referrals for as well. They may not be ready, or they may not be a good fit for nutraMetrix at all, but they are a great fit when you build that relationship for referrals. You might say to a pharmaceutical rep that you've built a relationship with, so tell me who your favorite doctors to work with are, right? Because we get to choose. So we don't want to work with the doctors that they don't like working with. We want to work with the ones that they already like. See how that works? All right, so let's talk about the different personality types. Now, for those of you who have been around the unfranchised world, you will recognize many of these faces. If you're new, after a conference, after one of our big conferences, come back and watch this again, and you go, oh, that's who that was. Okay, so we're just looking at the kinds of people who have a good personality for the type 1 NC. Now, I'm not saying these people are type 1 NCs. I'm just saying there's something about them that make them a perfect candidate for filling this role. Here's Elizabeth Weber, the top earner of the company. Who wouldn't want her on our team, working with health professionals? Then we have the amazing Dennis Franks. His energy, his personality, the way that he coaches. Every time I've had a conversation with him, it's always ended up in some sort of form of coaching, and I love it. Here we have Tammy Gaines with that warrior mentality and that engaging smile, right? That's somebody who is fearless in life and would make a wonderful type 1 NC. Both of these attractive people, Lisa Grant and Jim Winkler, they do look great, would be great fits for a type 1 NC. Bonnie Philo with all that energy, and Sue Gilad, one of my personal mentors and friends. These are all great people who have the personality type for a type 1 NC. So if you can identify personality-wise with these people, you might be a great fit for the type 1 NC. And if what I just shared with you kind of scares you a little bit, then maybe filling this role isn't where you're going to start. Maybe you're going to start in one of the other roles. And that's actually something I want to explain, is ultimately we're going to have to do everything or find people to do all of these. But this is a great way when you're building your teams for somebody who, say, the type 1, the tasks of a type 1 NC might be a little daunting to some people. So that might be a better fit for us because we're more familiar with what we do already. So we might look to them as, say, a type 2 NC, the implementation manager. Now, an implementation manager does not have to already be working in a practice. In fact, somebody who's not in a practice would be a great partnership, say, a teacher or a retired teacher, or somebody who's really just good at communication and delegation and has a gravitas to them where people listen to them. The way that might work if they're not already in the practice is you might say, hey, to your type 2 implementation manager, I just opened an account with Dr. Smith and they're ready for their staff training. Would you please go in and train the staff? So that's where an outside type 2 NC would come into play. Or if you don't have that option on your team yet, we might identify somebody in that practice. And the beauty of this is when and if they get trained to be a nutraMetrix consultant, they have a skill set as whoever they are in that office, whether it's an office manager or a front desk person. Should they ever move or need to change jobs, they have a skill set of implementing revenue generating wellness programs already built into their repertoire. So that makes them immediately more hireable, right? Okay, so what does the type 2 person do? Delegate, be good with accountability. They'll be the on-site lead point of contact for the type 1 NC, if it's, say, an office manager or somebody in the practice. Somebody who is good at follow-through, good and loves education, good at communication, and anybody who here on the bottom of the screen might be a good fit. But again, there are so many people that are looking for something. And I know sometimes the type 1 roles can be a little bit scary. So you might go to a networking meeting, say if you have a chance to be sort of in front of the room and ask for a lot of people, you might say, I'm a nutraMetrix consultant. I implement a wide variety of revenue generating wellness programs, and I'm building a team of consultants, and I'm looking for somebody with a background in education or communication that wants to work with me and help do some staff trainings when I open accounts. Who do you know who might be a good fit for that? See how that works? All right, so some personality types who might be a good fit. I think Phil and Sue Guido would be wonderful fits for this role. Both of them, in their own unique ways, have a very, they have that gravitas to them that I was talking about. They have a way of speaking to people, and you listen to them, and you want to do what they say because you know that they have your best interest at heart. Shane Kringle, former Marine, I would not disobey this man. I would love to have him on my team in this role because he also, in a very different way, has that, I'm going to use the word again, gravitas, that you're going to do what he says. He's going to delegate well, and you're going to obey. Amber Yang, again, such a great educator. She did one of my first new and franchise owner trainings and basic 5 trainings. And it was one of the most educational experiences that I had as I was learning how our company works. Brandy Murphy, director of nutraMetrix, she is a former school teacher. She excels at communication. And here is regional NC Holly Greif, and a good friend of mine, and Holly's so nice, I put her in there twice. But Holly's a health professional, and she's chosen to also help other health professionals implement these programs. And she is great at communication and education, and she's great in those small groups. Okay, so the third type of NC is a wellness coach. Now, not every practice is going to need a wellness coach, okay? But a wellness coach is going to usually be a medical or health professional because they're going to be speaking directly with patients. So they should be part of that practice, of course, so that no HIPAA violations occur. And this is the person, say, for example, in a busy practice, that when the health professional just doesn't or can't find the time, they're going to say, listen, here's where I think you need, this is your course of action. Go talk to, say, for example, Holly, and Holly's going to give you instructions on what this is about, how to take it, and how it will benefit you. And then the wellness coach is going to do that. Now, sometimes this will fall upon a staff member, and sometimes this portion may just happen at checkout. And it might just be some more simple instructions rather than true wellness coaching, depending on who that person is in the practice. So they need to be good with communication, and they need to be really good at taking advanced concepts and making them seem easy and simple. So who might be a good fit? Here we have, this is one of my favorite pictures of her, Dr. Deidre Mason. Gigi Surtsitis, registered nurse. Dr. Stan Pierce, chiropractor. Now, it's not because they're health professionals that I put them here, although in the wellness coach category, that might be something to really look at. But it is because they have a way of taking advanced concepts, like I mentioned, and making it very palatable. Okay, that's really the key when it comes to a wellness coach, and caring about the outcomes of patients and clients. The fourth type of NC is our TLS weight loss solution coach. This can be anyone in the practice. It can be people outside the practice. It could be a health coach. It could be a personal trainer. When I talked about who do you know who is a personal trainer who's looking to generate referrals through patients of medical practices, this is a way to facilitate that because a portion of TLS is changing your body composition. And if you have somebody that can build that in to the program, then your patients will get better faster, feel better, look better, have more energy, and lose that fat that they're looking to lose. Who might make a good fit for a TLS coach? Now you're going to see these are all TLS trainers here, and the director of field development, Sue Pasquale, Corinne Roberts, John DeCastro, Larry Rogowski. It's not that these people it's not that because they're TLS trainers. That is a portion of it. It's one of the reasons why they were chosen. But it's because they are excellent at accountability and holding people, meaning patients and clients, accountable to what they said their goals were. And that's really the key with TLS. But that's a whole other conversation. So let's talk about the career path of an NC. And let's set some expectations. If you are training to be an NC, you need to commit to at least a year. I want to share with you, it took me 9 months to open my first account after I got trained. So there's a common misconception that once you leave training, boom, people go out and open accounts, and some people do. I don't believe that's really the norm. They may have warm referrals, and that would be the norm, actually, in that case. And some people come to NC training because they already know health professionals are interested, but they want to do things correctly, so they get to the next NC training, and then they can open up some accounts after that happens. So commit to at least a year. And by committing to at least a year, I mean that means you're doing something every day, not just to build your own franchise, but to build nutraMetrix. Want to make sure we're clear on that. All right, great. You must attend every major event, including a live NC training, Market America International Conference, Market America World Conference, your regional, I should say, all your locals, and every UBP in your area and any HBP that you are putting together or that you know of. You have to become a master at how our business works. And that's when things will start to flow and move, and momentum will build. And all you need to do is just do something small every day. Just take an action every day. And you need to build a personal retail base. You need to be base 10-7 strong. You can't teach anyone else to retail if you haven't done it yourself. All right. Let's just talk some more recruiting concepts. People who have already been with network marketing or direct sales companies are a really great fit because they're connected. Well, hopefully they're connected still. And you must know the difference between multi-level marketing and the unfranchise. Again, it's about being able to speak about it without speaking about it, that mastery concept I talked about. And once you get it, you get it. And that's the whole thing about teaching in themes. It's not about memorizing somebody else's words. It's about really understanding, comprehending the idea, the concept, and then you can speak it authentically. So here's a tip on Unfranchised TV, which is unfranchised.meeton.com. There's an approach workshop series that I put up. So one is called What to Say When You Meet New People, and the other is What to Say When You Meet New Health Professionals. So go ahead and take a look at those on unfranchised.meeton. So something I've been sort of alluding to is the theme of implementation teams. And why is this smart? Well, because leverage, really. Because we used to do everything ourselves, or we would teach somebody on site to do everything, and then if that person left, we had to start over. By building teams, we are able to manage our time better. We can combine our unique, diversified skills, provide comprehensive support, and people can start in their own comfort zone, like I talked about earlier. They can start, say, in the role of a type 2 NC, and then come with us when we're doing the work of our type 1 NC, and they can see how simple and fun it can actually be, if that's something that's scary to them, of course. And by building more people on your team, you actually grow your referral network as well. And that, of course, makes a lot of sense to all of us who've been building an unfranchised. All right, so what this might look like, of course, this is never going to lay out perfectly, you guys. But here's you, right? And you're going to build a team of NCs on the left. Here's your type 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when you have that, then great. When you bring a health professional on board, where's that health professional? There's that health professional. And all the referrals that you get, you will have a team in place to run in and implement and quickly and seamlessly. Now, like I said, it's never going to lay out this perfectly. Don't wait for it to lay out this perfectly, but do become comfortable with all of the tasks and roles that you need to do, especially if it's just you right now. And you do the same thing on the other side of your business, and look at that. Guess what? You're activated with probably one or more of these NCs, and then you can bring in an HP1 and not have to worry about that HP1s don't count for activation. But you're able to bring them in as HP1s because that's going to be the best fit for the majority of health professionals when they start. So just do the same thing, duplicate what you do. Here's the slide on what I talked about earlier, the theme of consultant, not a rep. We are business consultants. We bring revenue to the practice. We're not a sales rep. We're not trying to get somebody to represent our brand and sell our brand. We are setting up a program for the health professional, for their patients, so that the practice can generate revenue. We are not an expense to the practice. We are a revenue generating program. And be of service, not of sales. That's really the true meaning of a consultant. Is a consultant asks questions and provides a solution to those questions. A salesperson is somebody who talks more and wants to make that sale more than anything else, even if it's not in the best interest. That's the difference in mentality between, say, a consultant and a sales rep, okay? And recognize your value. Now, understand that nobody can implement a nutraMetrix wellness program in their practice without the NC. They can't do it, unless they become their own NC, of course. But be confident in what you do. Remember that this is a movement, this is a wellness movement, and you are a vital cog in that movement. That everything that we do is value providing, right? Even that first 15-minute appointment, it's value providing. We're going to ask them questions that they may not have even been asked before. And we're going to, through the consultation process that is scripted out for you, we're going to be providing value at every step of the way, and understand that we have solutions that health professionals need, that patients need. And one health professional can only help so many people. They can only really help their patient base. But as a nutraMetrix consultant, we can implement in a practice and allow that health professional and staff to help their patient base, move on to another practice, help that health professional and that staff help their patient base. We have so much power as a nutraMetrix consultant. So use that power for good. And with great power comes great responsibility. So use the why, how, what concept. And here is the educational path for a consultant on the left, for health professionals, and for patients. So we have the education all lined out for everyone. So I'll keep this up for just a couple seconds. Feel free to freeze this or pause the slide so you can watch this. And I want to thank you for being on this module, and we will see you on the next one.